in the presentation. So I'm Spencer Kelly. I've been practicing here for about 8 months, I think, now at the Daifukuji. And yeah, I want to start off by expressing my gratitude to Reverend Jiko and the whole Daifukuji community for the opportunity to share and for all of your interests. So many people have come up to me since my trip and asked about it, and I'm really grateful for your interest and that I get this opportunity to bring this presentation to you. Another thing I want to note is during the week, as you may imagine, I try to leave my phone in the room and just be present for the activities at Plum Village. So I don't have photos of every activity or all the people that I met, but I'm working with what I have, and so yeah, that's that. So thank you. So the week of April 24th through 31st, I attended a mindfulness practice week at Plum Village in southern France. As many of you know, Plum Village was started by Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, also known as Thai, which means teacher in Vietnamese, after being exiled from Vietnam for speaking out against the war. He lived there for over 40 years before returning to his root temple during the final years of his life. So my journey. Why did I attend a practice week at Plum Village in France? I was raised Christian in a devoutly Christian family. I went to K through 8 Christian school. I then rebelled against my faith in my teen and college years, having more interest in living fast and partying. After years of this, my health had deteriorated, manifesting in constant states of anxiety and depression. And this led me to seek practices which could help, one of them being meditation and exploring spiritual paths from around the globe. So I read books by Ram Dass, Paramhansa Yogananda, Sadhguru, Shunryu Suzuki, and Thai. And I think the simplicity of the practice is what really drew me in, how it teaches us to live deeply, discovering the wonders of life in each and every moment. And I also really admire how Thai was not caught in teachings, even Buddhist ones. So he's built a global ethic, one that transcends religious boundaries. This takes me to my physical journey of actually getting to Plum Village. I would consider myself an environmentalist, and climate change oftentimes occupies my thoughts. For this reason, I really wanted to make this journey by train. I had already flown to Europe and I had to fly back, obviously, but if it was one small leg of the journey that I could make by train, I wanted to honor the practice in that way of living more harmoniously with the earth and have a lower impact travel. So even though it took 9 hours for train transfers to get there, as opposed to an hour and a half flight, I did it. I went from Amsterdam to Paris, across Paris, transferring stations, Paris to Bordeaux, and then Bordeaux to Saint-Foy-le-Grand. As I moved further from Paris into the countryside of southern France, I noticed myself becoming calmer. The dominance of the city fell away, and the peacefulness of nature came into prominence. There's a quote that I really love. Someone said that Thai awakened the spirit of old Europe. Entering the countryside where Plum Village is nestled felt like stepping back in time, to when societies were more agrarian than industrial, where time seemed to flow more slowly. In a way, there was a timelessness to it all. Here's a note I found in my book, sitting on the platform. I can't really believe I'm sitting on the platform in Bordeaux, waiting for the train to Plum Village. I've come very far, but I know the real journey is back to my true self, in the here and the now. May this week be deep, profound, simple, and peaceful. So after 9 hours, I arrived at Saint-Foy-le-Grand station and was picked up in shuttle vans and taken into the countryside. When I arrived, there was a mix of emotions, excitement, I can't believe I'm here, a bit of worry, who will I meet, how will the practices go, but mostly a deep peacefulness which permeated the grounds, which I think we can all attribute to the 40 plus years of practice, generating a palpable energy of mindfulness in this place. I am home. This is where I stayed in Upper Hamlet. It was an old rustic building, which was also the registration office on the bottom. We slept in rooms at the top. Here's an arrow. That's literally my room. One of my roommates was from the UK, the other was from the Netherlands, both with Christian upbringings, which made for some very interesting conversations. We still meet regularly on WhatsApp, and we're called the Starflower Sangha, after the name of the room we were in. It is pretty official, although we don't have t-shirts yet. I really appreciated the simplicity of the space. So many times I find myself looking for a perfect restaurant or hotel with luxury aesthetics and everything being perfect. But here things were truly simple. They were maintained, cared for, respected, but they were down to earth. I found that so refreshing and true to the practice of living simply and happily. Here's the squeaky old staircase in the building that I stayed in, which made quiet hours extra difficult. In the middle is a large slab of wood that someone painted a picture of Thai on, leaning next to the hearth, and a bottle cut in half with flowers in it. Simple. The schedule. Every day, except for lazy day, there was a robust schedule. I found that instead of feeling rigid, the schedule actually freed the mind to follow the flow of the day. And since everyone was following the same schedule, you could just follow the flow of people from one place to the next for different activities. The activities highlighted in red were where noble silence was observed throughout the monastery. From evening meditation through the night and until after breakfast, a deep quiet set in. Waking up. Every morning, long before the sun arose, the distant bell would sound throughout the countryside, its low, deep hum reverberating rhythmically. You put on clothes you've neatly placed beside your bed and exit your room into the cool morning air to stretch, preparing your body for the long sit. After a few exercises, you begin to walk slowly through dimly lit paths. As you get closer to the meditation hall, you see fellow practitioners walking as one river of practice. With each step, the sound of the bell grows, and the chanting of the brother who is inviting it to sound becomes clear as you enter the meditation hall and find your seat. The meditation hall was profoundly beautiful. It was an expansive space, able to fit over 500 people for large Dharma talks. It's surrounded by gardens and forest on every side, with windows running all along its exterior. I can still feel the cool bamboo floors on my feet, walking across the long hall to find a cushion. It was very special to meditate with the brothers in this space, only feet from Thai's altar and his cushion. Walk with me. I took many beautiful walks around the grounds during my week there. During free time, it was a great opportunity to find a friend or go alone, walking slowly and mindfully, aware of the beauty that surrounds us. In that spirit, let us enjoy together the sounds of nature. One of my friends I made during the week, Andreas from Switzerland, him and I were speaking with an aspiring monk, and he said that he was always sure this would be his path, that he never felt drawn to worldly things. Andreas and I admired his surety and compared it to our own spiritual pursuits, which felt ripe with twists and turns. On our walk that day, Andreas and I stumbled upon this tree, and we felt that it was a great teacher. Twists and turns are okay. The second photo is a tree about to return to Mother Earth. and one of the brothers took out an old cloud cutout which was used for an event and wrote this on it. "Dear beloved Sangha, it is time for me to return to Mother Earth. Thank you for taking good care of me. In gratitude." The third photo is from my last sunrise at Plum Village from Thai's Sitting Still Hut. Between my lodging and the dining hall was a deteriorating wall next to a bamboo grove. The story is that the whole area was occupied by the Germans during World War II, and that people were executed along this wall. The bullet hole is still evident in the stone. They decided to keep this area intact in order to transform the energy of the space. I felt very drawn to this area during my week there because I found this to be such a powerful representation of the practice, to look straight into the heart of suffering in order to transform it. Supposedly, Plum Village has a practice center in Berlin, which used to be a concentration camp. Thai decided to acquire the space for the same reason, to transform the energy of the space through the practice of mindfulness. I noticed while I was there that someone placed small crystals in the bullet holes. Next, I want to share some of the practices that really impacted me during my time there. Gathas. Gathas are short verses that we can recite during daily activities to help us return to the present moment and dwell in mindfulness. At my window, I had one that was, "Opening the window, I look out upon the Dharmakaya. How wondrous is life. Attentive to each moment, my mind is as clear as a calm river." Or when looking in the mirror, "Awareness is a mirror reflecting the four elements. Beauty is a heart that generates love and a mind that is open." Or when you're washing your hands, "Water flows over these hands. May I use them skillfully to preserve our precious planet." Dharma sharing. Dharma sharing is a practice in mindful speech and deep listening, and an opportunity to explore our practice together in a group. Dharma sharing had a profound impact upon me. We would gather after Dharma talks with smaller groups of practitioners and retreatants from all over the world to share openly about our lives and practice. The circle is confidential. When sharing, we don't expect or encourage a response, we just share what is on our hearts in that moment. It is amazing what happens even with a group of strangers when you make everyone feel safe and set a container to share. People really opened up to the depths of their joy and suffering, creating an immediate, intimate bond with the entire circle. Lazy day. I want to read an excerpt from the speech that Thich Nhat Hanh gave on the practice of lazy day. Lazy day is a day when you refrain from doing anything. You resist doing things because you are used to doing things. It can be a bad habit. If you are not doing anything, you have to die. You cannot bear the thought of doing nothing. It has become a habit. That is why when you do not do anything, you suffer. The lazy day is a kind of drastic measure against that kind of habit energy. On lazy days, you refrain. You do your best in order to refrain from trying to do something. You try to do nothing. It's hard, but we have to learn. We have to open up to start a new civilization, because we have the tendency to think in terms of doing and not in terms of being. We think that if we are not doing anything, we are wasting our time. That is not true. Our time is first of all for us to be. To be what? To be alive, to be peace, to be joy, to be loving. And that is what the world needs most. So we train ourselves in order to be. And here's a picture of Thai's hammock on his porch in Sitting Still Hut, which I thought was an appropriate photo of awareness. Walking meditation. Walking meditations would begin with singing as a group before beginning to walk together in noble silence, experiencing the wonders of the present moment and our surroundings together as one Sangha body. And now my final sunrise there. One of the brothers heard I was a runner and invited me to join him on one of his morning runs. We shared deeply about our lives, and over the course of the week we became very close. On the final morning, he invited me into the monastic area in order to watch the sunrise and drink tea from the porch of Thai's hut. It was the perfect culmination to a life-changing week, and I felt so grateful that I was allowed this opportunity. I would like to end by sharing this moment with you all. Thank you.